So, a few years back, I was just mulling over a couple of things I learned in science class, basic stuff. But this simple thought experiment, it just sent me down this rabbit hole. And honestly, it completely unraveled everything I thought I knew about my life, myself, and what reality even is. Here it is. This is the question that just grabbed me and would not let go. We all learn this stuff in school, right? Fact one, our bodies are made of atoms. Fact two, atoms themselves are almost entirely empty space. But wait a second. How can both of those things possibly be true? It just doesn't add up. I mean, look at me. My body is obviously not empty space. I can see it, I can feel it, it's solid. And that right there, that's the heart of the paradox. The world our senses give us is one reality, a world that feels solid, where things are separate and material. I'm here, the chair is over there, it just feels real. But then science comes along and describes a totally different reality, one that's mostly empty space, where everything is connected by these invisible force fields. So, which one is the real world? It's one of those questions that feels like it could break your brain. But it turns out science has a really clear and seriously strange answer. So let's do it. Let's unpack that empty void and figure out how it creates the solid world we live in every single day. Let's just start with a number. And it's a wild one. This is the percentage of an atom that is nothing but empty space. No, that is not a typo. The tiny little part of an atom that we'd actually call matter takes up about 1/4 of its total volume. That means you, me, this desk, everything, we are all made of almost entirely nothing. To really wrap your head around that, try this analogy. Picture a massive football stadium. Now, if the nucleus of an atom, all the physical stuff, was just a couple of BBs sitting on the 50-yard line, the electrons would be like tiny, tiny specks orbiting way out in the nosebleed seats. And everything else in that entire stadium, empty space. And remember, that's just one atom. The consequence of all that emptiness is just mind-blowing. And this isn't some sci-fi concept. This comes straight from the U.S. Department of Energy. If you could somehow magically squeeze out all that dead space, every single human being on planet Earth, the whole lot of us, would fit inside a single sugar cube. That's how little solid stuff we're actually made of. Okay, so that brings us right back to the central mystery, doesn't it? If we're so incredibly insubstantial, why can't I just walk through a wall? What's stopping my hand from passing right through this desk? What is creating this feeling of solidness? Well, here's the secret. That empty space isn't truly empty. It's humming with invisible electric fields, force fields. So when the atoms in my hand get close to the atoms in the wall, it's not actually matter bumping into matter, not at all. It's those force fields pushing back against each other. Solidity, it's not a property of matter. It's an illusion created by these immaterial forces repelling each other. So what this all means is that our reality isn't built on matter. It's built on energy and force. We're not these solid material beings like we think we are. We're actually beings shaped and defined by these fundamental immaterial forces. A good way to think about it is with the word eners. It just combines energy and force. That's what we are. We're complex, conscious systems of eners. And listen, this isn't some fringe spiritual idea. This is mainstream physics. Dr. Don Lincoln, a senior physicist at Fermilab, puts it this bluntly. This isn't a metaphor. Scientifically speaking, this is what you are, an organized, complex, and conscious configuration of empty space and force fields. I know. This can feel really hard to accept. It goes against every single thing our senses tell us every second of the day. But this is not the first time science has completely flipped our common sense view of the world on its head. In fact, there's a pattern here. For centuries, it was just obvious the Earth was flat. I mean, just look at it. It was obvious the sun went around us. It was obvious that people were fundamentally separate from the animal kingdom. And in every single case, our senses were wrong, and a major scientific discovery forced a huge shift in our reality. The shift from seeing ourselves as solid matter to seeing ourselves as immaterial fields of energy, it's just the latest, and maybe the biggest of them all. And what's crazy is this seemingly radical idea isn't even new. Just listen to what Niels Bohr, one of the founding fathers of atomic physics, said all the way back in 1932. The people who discovered this stuff have known for a century that the world we touch and see is built on a foundation that, well, it defies our whole definition of real.
So this is more than just a cool science fact to win a trivia night. It has massive implications for how we actually live our lives. If we aren't what we think we are, then how should we be living? What does this actually change?
You could ask, is it immaterial that we're immaterial? And the answer is no, absolutely not. It's not just trivia. Understanding our true nature as beings of energy might just be the single most important key to unlocking a better way of being. When you start to see yourself not as a solid machine, but as a dynamic energy system, your whole relationship with your life changes. Suddenly, getting good sleep isn't about forcing your body to shut down, it's about letting your energy system recharge. Exercise becomes less of a chore and more of an intuitive way to get your energy flowing. You start to notice more, you feel more connected to people, and you realize you have way more control over your mood and energy than you thought. You're just living in harmony with how you're actually built.
Let's try to reimagine our bodies for a second. Think about your bones. Instead of seeing them as hard, solid things, see them for what they really are, incredibly dense configurations of energy. They're rigid structures made of locked force fields. The source material I read had this beautiful description calling them columns of frozen light, totally unsubstantial, yet perfectly strong.
Here's a really simple practice you can try anytime. First, just consciously relax the tiny muscles around your eyes and in your forehead. Then, try to picture your body as it truly is, a transparent, vibrant field of energy. You can gently link your fingertips or press the soles of your feet together. It kind of helps create a circuit. And then, just let your body move however it wants to. No thinking, no effort. Just let the energy system find its own natural balance. So you see, this knowledge isn't really a destination. It's not the end of the story. It's a doorway. It's a fundamental shift in perspective that opens up a completely new way of experiencing the world and, more importantly, ourselves. Science has shown us that behind this illusion of a solid, separate, material world, there is a whole other reality waiting. It's a world that is dynamic, interconnected, and absolutely humming with energy. It's a world where we aren't just little solid things observing from the outside, but active participants in a huge fluctuating energy system. Ultimately, it really all comes down to a choice. The facts are there. They've been proven by a century of physics. We are beings of energy, living in a universe of energy. Science has unlocked the door and is holding it wide open for us. The only question left is, will you walk through it?